gotta sit on the ground anymore.
I do it on my own, but I got all kinds of room. But with you here, we're all like limbs just
we're all knees and
in
elbows.
each other's way. Don't knock over our coffees, most importantly. So hi, everyone. What's up? First of all, elephant in the room. Just kidding, because you probably can't tell.
Did you just call me an elephant?
This is a new camera, and I really hope I got at least some of the settings right. I've been messing with it for a while, so hopefully I've just nailed it. But who knows? It'll be a lot of trial and error, and I've got to... Anyway, so hopefully it looks okay. So this is Tyler.
Hi, I'm Tyler.
I feel like I'm out of my skin right now.
Right?
Got a different camera. I'm not used to you. Your knees are in my way.
I'll just put my knees over here. Sorry, excuse me.
No, I'm just messing. So anyway, yeah, we're just going to do a coffee chat. Let me rephrase. I was going to do one for my channel, but I thought it'd be fun this month to have him on board because there are a lot of new people, new faces that have joined our little family here. And I've gotten a lot of questions and DMs asking like, you know, we want to see more of your husband. I'm like, oh, well, no problem
and
there.
I'm a complete ham, so this is not a problem for me.
But if you didn't know, Tyler has his own channel, which, one of the questions we got, we can just go ahead and dive on in.
Okay.
One of the questions we got was, why did you change your YouTube channel name?
Right, okay, so it was sort of a thing we've talked about doing for a long time, because Jessica, you did the same thing. You had Jam Beauty 89, and you ended up changing it to Jessica Braun, right? Or it's Jessica Braun. And it was interesting, because a lot of people commented during Vlogmas, which is when we do 31 videos in a row during December, that a lot of people were like, I don't watch anything else you do throughout the year because my channel was called Tyler Travels TV. And they're like, well, I don't travel, so I don't watch any of the other videos. I'm like, well, we do vlogs throughout the year on my channel. Yeah. So I was like, so it makes more sense to just call it Tyler Braun. And so that way it sort of encompasses when I do
whatever
travel videos, vlogs, food videos, whatever else I end up, Disney videos, whatever it is, sort of is just an all-encompassing.
That really was a smart move because it's kind of the same for me. Like when I realized like I don't want to just do makeup, even though it's still a huge presence on my channel, changing it to just my name freed it in my mind to be like, okay, I can just do whatever I want.
And I'm still trying to figure out exactly what it's going to look like because I think I'm still going to call like the travel videos like Tyler Travels TV, like that playlist, but then have a vlog. I don't know. Maybe I'll do like different playlists for different things because then I have like the Welcome to the Cutting Board like playlist and stuff like that. So I don't know. I got to figure that out. I'm planning on doing a lot more like cooking videos this year too. So it's sort of an all-encompassing thing, but I didn't want to have multiple channels because I feel like multiple channels would make it even more confusing. So everything fits.
Just a lot. That's just a lot.
I think everything fits under the Tyler Braun umbrella, and then there's like going to be different playlists and different stuff. I don't know.
I think it was a good
figure it out as we go.
Yeah. The only place I'm still Jam Beauty 89 is on my Facebook. Boy, they will not. They refuse to change it. I'm like, whatever. Anyway, okay.
But the travel videos are not going anywhere. Some people are like, oh, I'm so sad you're not doing travel videos. They're still there. They're still coming.
Yeah, we have that Europe vlog.
Those are actually
Europe vlogs, you guys.
They're actually close to being done.
Okay. It was from 2019?
November of 2019. We went to Europe and I still have
At this point, we're not even the same people. I'm like, why?
Well, I know, but maybe
that'll be fun. It'll be like a blast from the past. Gigi is a baby, a literal baby.
I just pulled all those into Final Cut Pro, and looking through it, I'm like, this is it's about 6 months younger, but this is about the age that like Felicity is now, and I'm like, it's so funny that we were. Gosh. But I've worked so hard on them so far, and Justin has done a lot of work on them, our editor, and so I'm like, I want them to continue to. I'm gonna do them. But it's going to be real confusing for people for a little while. I'll be like, how old are these videos? But I'm like, I've gone this far, and Justin's worked really hard. We're going to get these up. I'm going to do it. But it's the kind of travel videos where I actually, like, I call them, like, legitimate travel videos where I, like, write a script and do a voiceover, and it's a lot of work, and so it's just constantly pushed to the back. But with my...
Especially when there's more, like, things happening right now that need to go up.
Well, that, and really, it's been more that with... I own a travel agency, and the last couple years, that has taken up all of my time, and just recently I've really started to step away from the travel agency side of things to focus more on YouTube, and so I finally have the time to devote to this kind of stuff, which is really cool.
All right.
I've been doing like 3 videos a week,
Tyler,
which is cool.
Enough promo, okay? That's not why I had you on. Just kidding. Ooh, so these questions really do get juicy. What is something that you admire about the other that you've never told them? I need to think on this for a sec. Something that you admire about me.
I feel like I was just thinking of something the other day.
You should know that Tyler and I just got into a tiff because...
It was not a tiff.
Oh, it was a tiff. Because I was like, let me check this footage because we're trying to make sure the sound is recording since this is all new. And I I already forgot what it's about. I said, let's just start over. I feel like we could condense everything we said in the first 5 minutes into like 1 minute. Like, let's just start over. And you were like, no, people like long videos
Let
sometimes.
me say this. Literally yesterday, Taylor Wynn uploaded a video. And Jessica said, oh my gosh, Taylor Wynn has a 45-minute video. I am so excited.
I was.
And then literally you're
but
like,
not everyone feels that way about
No, I
us.
know, of course. It just depends. But I was like, it's okay if some videos are longer. I feel like.
Please, I'm the queen of long videos. All right, anyway.
Okay.
That was the tiff. And then I finally said, are you sure you're okay to keep filming? And he said, yes, I'm just hungry. Go get a snack.
Oh, we're all hungry.
Yeah, we're all hungry. All right. Oh, so what is something that you admire about the other that you've never told them? Oh, this is Kayla.
Oh, look at that.
I didn't even like actually look at the name. Hey, Kayla. I know mine, but I don't know how to put it into words.
Yeah, I feel like, okay. I'll just say that really, I mean, think about our entire lives would not be our lives had you not had the gumption to start filming videos 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, our entire lives would be extremely different.
Yeah.
If you had not done this. You know what I mean?
Well, that's nice of you to say.
So I admire the fact that you got out there and you were just like, I'm just going to do this. And here we are 10 years later still doing it.
That was nice of you to say.
That's our entire lives, really. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't have the agency. We wouldn't have our channels. We would be very different in a very different space.
Yeah.
So thank you for giving us our lives.
You're welcome. I also gave life to our 2 kids.
Oh yeah, also that.
You helped with that. Okay, so mine is, different. There's like 2 things. So I might save one for another time, private conversation. But I think it is, I admire, and I wish I were more like this. You are very goal driven. So like if let's take fitness for example, but it applies to so many things. If you have a goal like, okay, I'm running this half marathon, you will actually train and follow a training, or like you will reach that goal and you will do what you have to do. And I am not goal driven at all. And I wish I were. I think I would do a lot more of other things if I had been more goal driven. So
what was the thing we were just talking about, purpose-driven versus goal-driven?
I want to look into that some
Yeah.
more. I saw Rob Beauty Christie talking about that in a recent video, and I'm just interested in that idea.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that's what I
And of course, it's just
you make things happen, Cap'n. You do. Scoonley asked, basement update? Question mark?
It is 99.99%
That
there.
video might be up by the time this one goes up.
Okay, so yeah, so we
Might be. It'd be on Tyler's channel. But.
Yeah, I did because I have a lot of books, and so I had a whole thing about all the books that I was doing. I was cataloging them, doing all that, and then you're decorating some of the shelves, and so that's kind of all like decorating the basement is essentially what that
it's kind of like finishing it up.
We have one really last piece where we need a countertop, and they're like 8 weeks out, which I guess is probably 6 weeks now.
Yeah.
But they said they're going to try and fit us in earlier if they can. So that's
it's
really
just like a fragment of a piece that's going. I mean,
yeah, it's a remnant of a thing.
That's
yeah,
it. Remnant.
And so I'm like, once that is done, the basement will be completely done, and then we'll do a real like basement tour and that kind of stuff. We're just waiting for that one final piece,
yeah,
and then it'll be done. But we've been spending like every night down there.
Oh yeah,
every night. Awesome.
It's amazing. I'm so thankful. I have to say, shout out to baby monitors, because when you're all the way down, like we can't hear.
Yeah.
You know, so it is nice to have. We just got our baby monitor on high volume, and we've been watching movies and shows and eating dinner, and it's been fun.
It's awesome.
Or dessert. That's my favorite.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, duh, but dessert. Do you like dessert?
Here's a hot take. Dessert is delicious.
Hot tip, Kelly. What is y'all? Well, here, you can read it.
Okay, what is y'all's favorite type of date night? Okay, I actually have 2.
Ooh.
Like that just immediately popped into my head when I thought about that.
I have 2. If they're the same, I was gonna whisper it to you. That doesn't help anything.
No.
I know what my 2 are.
Okay, let's see if they're the same. So 1 is when we go out to dinner and then go see a theater show.
Okay, that wasn't on my list, but that is top tier.
So we are like we are obviously big theater people. I don't know if it's obvious. We're big theater people. That's how we met and all that. And so we have like tickets to like theaters around us, and I love that, going to see a show and getting dinner beforehand. It's usually a night just the 2 of us, and it's awesome.
It really is.
And then my second one is there's a movie theater around us
that was one of mine.
You eat dinner while you're watching the movie. Like they have like a full menu and stuff. So it's really, and you like sit at a table, but then you can like recline after. It's awesome.
It really is. We have not been in a long time, but some of my favorite memories, when I was pregnant with Genevieve, we went, I feel like a weird amount, because it was just fun. We could just relax. I'm just growing a baby, eating whatever.
Burgers and fries.
I have such happy memories. Actually, one of my favorite things we've done there is seeing The Greatest Showman.
That's right. Yeah.
I loved that movie.
I haven't seen it since we saw it in theaters.
I love it. I listen to that soundtrack a weird amount. So mine was Flick's Brewhouse. That's the name of the one.
Yeah.
Doing that is just fun, and we haven't done it in a while. But you're right. Going to like see a theater show is just top tier.
Yeah.
I also, and this doesn't really count, but my favorite nights we spend together are the ones I feel like we haven't gotten to do it in a while, where we like eat and watch a show at home. And then we play a game after and watch America's Funniest Videos. And we haven't done that. That was like our thing for a while.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah. It's not like a date night, but I mean, it is.
It's not. You're right. It's cheating, but that is.
It is fun. That's just our normal. That's just a normal night. That's a Tuesday.
Basically, but we haven't done it in a while. Sorry. Now I'm more Lord Sirizeri. I'm sure I butchered that. I just liked saying it. Said, "What do you do when you and Tyler have a really bad argument?" I know what we do. Usually, we just whatever we say our piece about whatever nonsense, and usually it's because one of us is hungry. So we say our piece about whatever, and then I feel like we go our separate ways, doing whatever we're doing in the house. Let's say, and then like an hour later, one of us comes up and hugs the other and says, "I'm sorry, I was just hungry," or "I'm sorry, but I'm still right," or no.
We never like get into like shouting matches or anything like that. It's never like
it's usually just more like annoyance matches.
Yeah, but the other thing is, I feel like when we were younger, like first starting to date, one of us would always like walk away because we get frustrated.
That one of us was me.
I was trying to be, but yeah,
it was like what I knew to do. I don't know.
And so yeah,
you know, we all have like our defense mechanisms, if you will. That was mine.
But now I feel like
I would like literally walk away, like away.
But now I feel like you and I actually talk. I mean, we'll get to the point of whatever. And I think the other thing was too is realizing that just because there was a time where you'd be like, I just feel like you're not listening to me, and we got to the point where it's like, no, I'm listening to you. I just have a difference of opinion. But no, that's a big difference. That's a big difference because
that was only a few months ago, and it was when we were figuring some stuff out with the basement.
It was like,
we were just in the basement. We were talking about the workspace.
Yeah,
trying to figure that out.
And you were like, you just don't listen to me. I'm like, no, I am 100% listening to you, and it's because people want to feel listened to. And that's a big part of it is not just immediately throwing things out. And we're good about saying, all right, I know you're not going to like this opinion I'm about to say, but don't immediately throw it out. Let's talk. Give it a week to ruminate, and then let's talk about it.
And then we'll throw it out.
But anyway, that's one thing too. Is always know that you're listening, or I'm listening to you. I say as I cut you off.
But that has taken us time. Like that was not built in. Like that is just a learning curve. I think it's hard. Like if you're watching this and you have a partner that either isn't good at listening, or you feel like you're trying to find a healthier way through arguments. That's hard because if you do have a partner that's not even willing to look at the way they react to something and maybe think about adjusting it for the future, I don't know. Because, I mean, that's really it. You have to be able to be somewhat flexible. And it doesn't always come easy, I don't think. But
I think you and I do end up pretty, like half the time, I end up saying, okay, you were right. And half the time you end up saying I was right. I feel like we are good about
I think so.
Getting, actually taking a step back, thinking about what the other person said, and then sort of coming to a conclusion on whatever it is.
I feel like we're like...
I know.
I know. I'm like trying to...
Just cut off
feel weird in my skin still. Like, all right. Ooh.
I feel like I need to like put my legs out or something. Why are we sitting on the ground anyway?
It's the best. Here, scooch in. Come closer. All right. Why do you choose to live in the suburbs versus the city?
That's a very multifaceted
It is, and I don't think there's any right answer. Like, there was a reason we had our workspace. We're moving from it, but we're moving from the workspace, but we put it there in downtown Indianapolis because we both also still like the city vibe. Like, we like being able to walk to get coffee or go to lunch or whatever. Going
out on a run and running downtown and stuff like that. I love that. And there's that's a big reason we were down there, because we 100%. Love that downtown vibe. I would keep my window open all the time and just hearing the sounds of the city and stuff like that. And obviously Indianapolis is not the biggest city, but it's like...
It's not a tiny city, though, either.
13th or
12,
something like that.
Something like that.
Biggest city in the United States. But I just love being downtown. And that was the biggest hurdle for me to get over for us moving to a new space, was I'm like, I am going to really, really miss being downtown.
And I think we still will.
Yeah.
But the new place we're moving to is closer to home, and that's huge. I know I've talked about that in a lot of recent vlogs, so I won't dive into it too deeply here. And you'll eventually get to see it, undoubtedly, once we finally move in. But... being closer to home, where was I going with that? Oh, the new place we're going to does have some places walkable, like right there, like a coffee shop and other
yes.
things. So we'll get, it's like downtown light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very light.
It's
but
kind of perfect. Yeah. It's kind of perfect.
But yeah, as far as living in the suburbs, it really is such a toss-up. Like, obviously now we have kids and it's nice having a yard and stuff like that, and having, you know, more space for what we can get. But we're not, I mean, even still, it's like a 30-minute drive to downtown. So it's really not too far. So I kind of feel like we have the best of both worlds, where we can get downtown pretty quickly, but we also have more space, more bang for our buck being in the suburbs.
Definitely more bang for your buck. And I just feel like we both grew up in the suburbs to a certain extent. And I think we both kind of, it's like ingrained in us. Yeah. Like I knew we would never end up in a city because it's just not what we were used to. Not that you can't end up, but I think we just like it.
Yeah.
I think is it.
Here's the two things though. One, both of us grew up 20 minutes from downtown Indianapolis. Like we could both get there with it. And like, so we did shows downtown all the time. We did, you know, we were always downtown for a million reasons growing up, both of us separately. And so it was never that downtown was that far away, but it was just, so we were able to go downtown often enough.
Lives.
And then I had another thing I was going to say too. What were you just saying a second ago?
Well, even just from a space perspective, it really is nice, you know, to have the kind of space we have to be able to spread out. Like the fact that the kids have their own rooms is huge. I did not have my own room growing up. Not that we live in the city. That doesn't really help my argument here, but.
Yeah. Well, and of course, there are bigger homes downtown, but they're just more expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know each other's coffee order and how you drink your coffee? You have a few. Do you know mine?
No. Not even a little bit.
Mine. I was literally yesterday telling you, like, this, when I want iced coffee, this is what I really want.
Yeah, but I feel like
that, yesterday, you guys.
That changes from week to week.
This is true. But
so,
well, I'm learning, no, this is what no, this is what I want.
I mean, typically I just get black coffee.
No, I'm supposed to share what I know of yours.
Oh my gosh,
you share mine.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Black coffee. No, but he also, you love the nitro cold brew, which I also really like. That's what I was sharing. I've learned it's nitro, I feel like they're sometimes Starbucks has, sometimes they don't. But I definitely like Starbucks cold brew for iced coffee versus their like iced coffee you can get. That's what I was sharing. Like, it has a slightly better taste to me. But anyway.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty easy.
But you go from, because like you'll go through phases, like, you know, you'll want a pistachio something or other with 1 pump instead of 2, and then you'll do this versus that for a while. So I'm like, it changes from week to week. I genuinely have
But generally, like if it's first thing in the morning, what kind of coffee do I like?
Oh, if like at home? Just
or even at Starbucks.
Dash, because I got yelled at for putting too much.
Yelled, please.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, you screw my coffee up one more time, I pour it on you.
Don't you mess up my coffee.
No, but yeah, you were so sweet because you would make my coffee for me, and finally, like a few weeks in, I had to be like, hey, Tyler, can you put less half and half? It's too much.
Dash of half and half.
So sweet.
And then coffee, yeah.
And then in the afternoons, I've been so into black coffee.
Yeah.
And it's really giving me heartburn.
Yeah. Well, what I do...
But it's what I want.
Like, a lot of times I'll switch to coffee in the afternoon, like iced coffee. Like we had this in the fridge, because not a lot of times, but a couple days a week we'll have a little bit of extra in the pot. And instead of just pouring that out, I always pour it into a thing, and then I'll drink it like the next day.
Yeah. That's been working out really great, especially as the weather gets warmer. We will fight over who gets the coffee.
And I love our coffee maker, and so it makes really good coffee. I'm like, I can't stand to throw it out.
I know.
And so I just drink
I can link our coffee maker. It's more of a investment piece. It's from the brand Brayville. It's expensive, but not, there's like thousands of dollars one. Not like that. It's a couple hundred, but worth every penny. We absolutely love it. If anything ever happened to it and it like totally broke, I would just buy the same one, wouldn't you?
We went to Destin, Florida, a couple weeks ago, and we brought our baby Brezza to make formula. We should have brought our own coffee maker too.
Honestly, because we drove, so we were like, if we do formula there, we got to heat up the water separately and do it all. And like if you ever made, you know how it is. But the baby Brezza does it all for you, so we literally just like took it, dumped the water, and just put it in the car.
As we were driving down, I'm like, we're taking it with us.
Bring it with us.
Best decision we ever made.
Best money we've ever spent.
Oh my gosh,
anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, when we go on a trip and we come home, I look forward to sleeping in my own bed, and I look forward to our coffee maker.
100% miss it every time.
Yeah. And my piano. I see you over there. I miss
Piano's
you too.
Like, bye. That was the thing opening.
The lid.
Oh, this is such an interesting question. How do you navigate storage at home? I'm drowning in stuff. Oh, let's tackle this one.
This is Jessica's favorite topic.
This is basically a video of like, what do Tyler and Jessica argue about? If you've ever been curious, decluttering. So obviously I like to declutter, but I also still buy stuff. Like part of my job is like trying things out that are on Amazon, trying makeup out, like different, and sharing that kind of stuff. So if I just didn't buy anything else based on what I make videos about, I would kind of just, you know what I mean? Anyway, so naturally things come into our house and don't find their way out. So especially with the basement, that was a big time where we didn't really argue about this, but we're trying to find the balance of like getting rid of things that we really just don't use. Like, okay, we've had it for 3 years. Yeah, maybe that day might come one day, but the odds are it won't. And still keeping things that are of high value or that are sentimental, that kind of thing. Because you're definitely a little more sentimental with stuff.
Way more sentimental with stuff. 100%.
Yeah, you are.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Because you'll get rid of like all kinds of stuff. And especially since you got on this YouTube world.
10 years ago?
You keep watching these.
It's the minimal mom's fault.
Norwegian death cleaning things. And you're like, get rid of everything. And I'm like, that's my stuff.
But what are we going to do with it?
But it's my stuff and I need my stuff. But no, actually, what's funny is October and November, we had new carpet put in. And we had to get rid of, like, everything had to come out of all the rooms. And I told Jessica, I was like, between that and between doing the basement, I was like, man, we have a lot of stuff we should probably get rid of. And Jessica was like, this is my dream. Yeah! Everything's been answered. But it's funny because we only put the bare minimum stuff in first, and I was like, oh, I really like the way this looks. And so that was part of it, because I'm bad about knickknacks and stuff like that, knick-knack, paddywhack. I don't
think there's anything wrong with knickknacks.
But I just have a lot of it. And so like putting stuff back in the rooms after we got the new carpet, I was like, I really like that this is a lot more minimal. And going through the basement, because if you had asked me before we started the basement project, I was like, there's really not that much down there. I feel like it's still pretty open. There's not a whole lot. But once you actually start going through stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh. And we got rid of half, if not more, of the stuff we had down in the basement. And that's such a good feeling, because now that it's done, and there's a ton of storage down there, and it's like everything is organized. I know what we have. Like it really is a really good feeling. So I've been definitely getting better about getting rid of stuff. But even just yesterday, we were packing up stuff to move to the new workspace, and we were going through stuff, and I was like, well, I want to keep this pot and this pan and this whatever. And you're like, we don't need to, and we were like, you know, it's a meet in the middle kind of thing here. It's not like because you would get rid of everything, I would keep pretty much everything. So we have to meet somewhere in the middle. And I think we did a pretty good job with that.
I think we did too. And that's something I personally am working on, because I've realized in my old age that, I'm kidding. I just realized I can tend to steamroll you, and it's something I don't think I'd realized. And I think for me, becoming a parent became when it probably started happening. And I think this happens a lot in couples where, and it's not necessarily just the wife or whoever, just, it could be either of you, I guess is my point, where you don't really think about it, but I'll be like, you'll be dealing with Genevieve and I'll chime in and like take over the discipline or whatever. And I'm like, why am I doing that? Like, you're doing just fine. But I know I'm working on it.
No, I was gonna say, I was so stupid though. I didn't even realize it. I shouldn't have
said anything.
I still don't even think
Wait, I could have gotten away with it?
I still don't really think you even do it. And then you pointed out a couple times. I'm like,
oh, I should have just shut my mouth.
I didn't even really
Well,
realize
I guess maybe better that, because I do feel like I can have that tendency to just steamroll you, and especially with decluttering stuff, like you said. I instantly was like, no, Tyler, we don't need it. Let's just get rid of it. And usually you'd be like, okay.
But I'm like, but I want it.
No, and so that's why, but you even said, you were like, there's two of us here. Like, I get to decide things too. I'm like, all right, I guess.
But so I will say, probably over the course of the last year, we have decluttered a lot in every room in our house, and it's nice. It's very nice having less stuff.
We are buying a lot less stuff too.
Yes, that's a big part of it.
Like when I look at our Amazon orders, like there's always going to be fun things I'm trying, like for videos and stuff.
Right.
But you know, that aside, I really think we've cut back a lot. Like think about how many Amazon packages we used to get like this time last year versus now.
It's unsettling thinking about how much.
I know. We're all guilty, huh?
Oh my gosh.
This video is interesting. I hope you guys are enjoying it.
What is the biggest goal for you guys to teach your girls about a healthy relationship with work, or a healthy relationship?
And then maybe they also mean also with work. I don't know. Well, we can just answer it how we want, I guess. One thing I think about a lot is touch, and not to be gross, but you know what I mean? Like, I want the girls, and they do, see us hug daily. Or give each other a kiss multiple times a day. And we hug and touch and kiss them multiple times a day. And there are so many scientific studies, so many done, especially with kids and touch, and those that aren't loved on. It's pretty wild if you ever look into
Remember
it.
that even like in like high school health class, learning about studies they did, and
So I think that's something that we're conscious of, maybe, but I also don't think we think about a lot because we just naturally just hug each other and
can't keep my hands up.
You're making me blush.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, because obviously they're so young right now, but they're obviously impressionable. But I feel like this is something we'll get into more as they get a little bit older. But I just feel like that's what, like, I don't know. Don't settle. Like, you can find happiness, and you can find true happiness.
And you deserve happiness.
Yeah,
I think that's something that when you're in a relationship, like I was in a really, really bad relationship before you, and I just figured, well, there's the sunk cost fallacy of, well, I've already devoted this much time to it, so why would I give up now? Might as well keep going. But then also, I kind of felt like, yeah, I think this is good enough, but, you know, you might not find the love of your life at 20 or 26 or 32. It might be at 45 or older. I just think you're right. Like, there's someone out there, I believe, this is a personal thing, but I do believe there's someone out there for everyone, and
don't settle.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been together for 13 years now, and I feel like we're better now than we've ever been.
Agree with that.
And so
I've never loved you more. You're just a really good dad, and I like watching you be a father. I'm being totally serious.
I know. Well, thank you. All right, next question. Come on, get out of here.
Get out of here. All right. I don't even think we answered it, but we already did that one. Ooh, favorite dish that the other person cooks or bakes. A lot of the things that we like, we both cook. Like,
yeah, I will say the other day you made eggplant parmesan, and that's one we both make, but oh my gosh, it was so good. It's Ina Garden's recipe.
It's just always good. It's a foolproof recipe, but thank you.
It is so good.
It's so good. We still have some left over. That might be lunch today.
Yeah.
Obviously, I like your bread. The best bread, because that's not something I do. I did bake my first bread ever, though, the other day.
And it was good.
And it was Irish soda bread. Not the kind with currants and stuff, like the apparently more traditional kind. I don't know. And it was not bad. It could have used more salt, but I digress. But that was like my first and like only attempt at just bread that's other than like banana bread, zucchini bread type, you know.
Like a batter bread.
Which is also delicious.
Just a touch of flaky salt on top.
Would have really... Perfect. But speaking of that, my favorite bread you've ever baked and will ever bake is focaccia. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
It is so good. It's the texture.
It's so funny because I feel like focaccia is great. I like focaccia, but it's kind of a easy bread, like a throwaway bread for me. Sourdough is so much more complex and complicated to make.
But it doesn't taste better in my opinion.
But it's I feel like it tastes so much better. But I just love sourdough, and I love the crust,
your sourdough
and I love
too. Don't get me wrong.
Like I'll make something else, like I'll make pizza dough, or I'll make whatever, and then I'll just use whatever dough I have left over for focaccia. Again, not to say that focaccia isn't awesome, because it is awesome. But it's awesome. It's like if I make another batch of something and then I just have dough left over, I'll use it to make focaccia.
Would you say focaccia is something that, like, even if you weren't into like baking bread like sourdough and stuff, that like could I make it? I know I could make it, but do you think I could like kind of easily do it? Yeah. So like if you're watching and you want to taste some focaccia that you made, sounds like it's maybe
you could definitely do it.
Even if you're not into baking bread.
Yeah.
But yeah, because the rest of the stuff we cook, I feel like generally we both cook.
If you're ever looking for a book to tell you how to do it, I like Flour, Water, Salt, Yeast. That's sort of my go-to bread baking book. Not for my sourdough, but for basically every other kind of bread. So
why didn't I look in there for?
I don't think he has that kind of. I don't think he has
Irish soda bread.
No, it's not that style.
Oh, I wanted to talk about this. Not a question, but please do more shopping vlogs, Costco especially. So we did recently, and it did really well. It was kind of cool on your channel. I know. We did, and I think we like last minute, we're like, let's just do it. We just filmed it on our phone. A Costco vlog like a month or two ago on his channel. We can link below. It was so much fun. We need to go to Costco. Yeah, maybe we just film it.
Twist my arm.
I know.
We only need like 4 things though.
Well, but I feel like half of the fun of the Costco vlog is like showing what new stuff's there. And we end up filling the carts. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
We never need more than 5 things there.
This was a conversation we just had yesterday. I feel like, I feel like we're probably not alone in this. I was like, I don't know why, but I have this idea in my head that I can't just go into Costco and buy the cereal and the like 3 things that we need, I have to go in and fill a cart. They won't even let me check out unless I have a cart full of stuff so they can quickly get it across the belt. Like I can't just go in and buy 3 things.
They don't let you leave. And like, you know what? You have to have a cart too. You can't just carry stuff out. You just gotta have a cart. I don't know. The Costco rules.
Am I alone in that? I really feel like I'm probably not. Like it's like IKEA. It's like I can't just go to IKEA and pick something up. It's a whole to-do. Like I gotta spend an afternoon there. I gotta
you gotta eat while you're there. I mean, no, there's something to that mentality. Like when I think of Costco, I'm like, okay, it's gonna be like 4 hours.
Yep.
Even if we know there's only 3 things we need, like we could go zip, zip, zip. Yep. I'm always amazed when we're in line for 2 seconds because they just fly. So but anyway, when we're in line with our cart full of stuff, and I'll look over and there's like someone carrying just 2 things, I'm like,
are you allowed to do that?
Yeah, like I thought that was against the rules. These arbitrary rules that we're consistently making up. Here, scooch over just a tin.
I was like, yeah, I don't know. You got to have like, you got to show your card. So they're going to be like checking how much you bought as you leave. Like,
right. Do you have any regrets from your wedding? So our wedding, just to fill you in, was, oh my gosh, nearly 8 years ago in 2015 in the summer. And we got married in a church. It was actually the church like you grew up in and went to school. And then the reception was in Tyler's parents, their house at the time. Their backyard was absolutely beautiful, big. I mean, it was perfect for a wedding reception. It was so hot that day, like 100 degrees.
Really? I don't even remember that.
Well, I do because I was all worried about my makeup, my hair, and I was like, I'm stinky. I don't know.
I was just excited.
Sweating. I know, me too. I was so nervous. Anyway, so we did that outside, and we had some tents up. My brother at the time owned a catering company, and the food was amazing. Your brother DJ'd it, Jason.
My best friend,
and it was
Brian,
small.
Made your dress.
Yep.
Like it was a very small, intimate thing, and it was awesome. And it's funny because originally our plan was, we were just saying this the other night at dinner. Our original plan was to have like 20 people there. Like we were gonna have like siblings,
family,
parents, and then like maybe a couple of our friends. And then my dad is one of 12, and he wanted to invite his siblings, so immediately the size of our thing doubled, and we weren't going to have kids originally, and then we were like, all right, the kids can come, so it ended up being bigger than what.
I don't remember not wanting to have kids, but I guess it would make sense if we had a really small, maybe.
I thought that was the plan originally, was it not?
Because every time I hear a wedding with no kids, I'm like, oh, okay. Which, really, I like to go to weddings without the kids anyway, because you can enjoy it a little bit more, you know? I love my kids, and we take them everywhere, but, you know,
Did we not talk
it's fun
about
to go on a date. We're having 2 different conversations.
No, I'm asking, was that not a plan? I thought it was.
It might have been. It might have been. Yeah. I really don't know. I mean, I didn't have kids then, so what, you know.
Yeah. But do we have any regrets? I don't have any regrets.
I don't think so either.
It was really, like I said, really low key, and I loved that. I
don't know that I would change anything.
We have a video I can link, by the way. It's like not a shortened version, but it's like just the highlights of our wedding and stuff like that.
Yep. Okay, Tyler, if you weren't a travel agent, what job would you be doing? Why don't you guys ask me that? If I weren't a YouTuber, I'd be a teacher. I've already talked about it.
Honestly, I used to work in hotels, so I'd probably go back to working in hotels. Yeah.
That probably is, and I would just go back to teaching, like if YouTube crumbled or whatever.
Yeah.
We talk about that a lot. We try to keep a healthy view of like, YouTube could be very temporary, and just anything in this techie space.
Yeah, you never know.
So like, what would we do if this went away? And that's pretty much our plan.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't go away. I mean, we're still enjoying this, but what are we both currently reading?
I think we should. So, okay, was it 2 years ago? I don't know. We do a lot of videos on what we're reading, usually during Vlogmas or whatever. But 2 years ago, I think we did one in June and one in December.
It's not a bad idea.
Because if we do it just once a year, which is what we did last year, it is a lot of books. It's a lot to get through. But if we do it like every 6 months,
humble brag, but
yeah. But I think if we do it every 6 months, it'd be a little more whatever. So I was thinking we should do one maybe in June. But right now, I'm reading Ragtime. And
the El Doctoro.
Yes, and it's
Doctoro. I don't know.
Really good. I'm probably 70% of the way through it right now. I'm like, honestly, I actually don't know when that book was written. It's new-ish. 1975. Published in 1975. So it came out in 1975. I thought it was older than that.
Me too.
But it's sort of like a modern classic, whatever. There's a musical based off of it that I love, but the book is pretty incredible. And actually, it is almost more prevalent, or more, that's not the word I'm looking for, it's almost more important now than even when it was written. It is there's so much that they talk about that really draws parallels to today's issues that we have, and that's because I just read Les Mis too, and I'm like, it's amazing. We were just talking about this. That is a long book. That took 6 weeks.
We were seeing the musical though, the tour, which by the way, if that tour is coming to your town,
see it. It was so good.
Please see it.
But that was written in like 1865, something like that. And I love seeing that and reading that because I'm like, all these emotions and all these problems and all these issues that you're seeing, like, it's the same stuff they're talking about in 1865. Fast forward to now, and we're still having the same conversations, the same issues, the same things, the same, because it's all the human condition, the human emotion and all that stuff. And it's just, it's amazing. It almost makes you feel better about the time you live in because you're like, well, they were dealing with all this in 1865 too.
Yeah, just minus cell phones and social media and all that.
So it's pretty, anyway, Ragtime is fantastic. That's what I'm reading right now.
Nice. I might have to add that to my list. I'm reading Hotel Nantucket, and it is just a fun read. It's taking me a weird amount of time, but I think we've just been more tired, like with the girls. And so I pretty much only read at night, and I've been reading like 3 pages and falling asleep. So it's taking me forever, but I'm almost done with it, and I'm enjoying it. It's just kind of a fun read, especially if you've been to Nantucket. I think it's even more fun, but I don't think you had to have been. But it's about this really beautiful hotel that was like super old, and certain things happened like 100 years prior, and so now it's like dilapidated, and this benefactor comes in and ends up investing a bunch of money. So it's basically the first summer that it's open and what goes on, and it's you will like this book.
Yeah, I can't wait.
For kind of more of like just a fun novel to read, you will really like it. So I'm enjoying it. I'm almost done with it. It's totally one I would recommend to, I think, most people.
I think I'm reading The Great Gatsby next because I'm really far behind.
That's a favorite.
So you love it. I didn't like it when I read it, but that was so long ago. So I'm going to reread it now, and I think I'll probably like it a lot more now. But it's I'm trying to find some shorter books to get through because I'm so far behind on my reading challenge because Les Mis took so long to get through. So I'm like 4 books behind. So I'm like, all right, I'm looking at my list of books up next. I'm like, what are the shortest ones so I can get caught up? But anyway, so I'm doing Gatsby next. But that's probably, if after Gatsby, I'll probably read Hotel Nantucket. And
you'll end up flying through Hotel Nantucket because you read faster than I do. All right, let me pop back on my Instagram because those were screenshots I took.
So this person said, would you ever do community theater again if you had time? I think I would, but with the caveat that like Jessica and the girls would have to like be in it. Like I know when I did, no, I'm serious. When I did shows, like a lot of times we would do like Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat or whatever, and there'd be like a kids chorus and stuff like that. Because I'm like, I don't want to spend so much time apart from you. Because if you do community theater, you're rehearsing for 3 months, several nights a week, and I'm apart from the girls. What? Why are you laughing?
Is it that long?
It's 2 or 3 months.
A month and a half.
Really? Was it that short?
Well, I don't know.
Like it took forever.
I'm sure it's totally dependent on you.
Yeah, whatever. But
because then, like in professional theater, we would rehearse for what, like 2 weeks?
10 days, 2 weeks, yeah.
So quick.
But then you're doing a show every single night for 6 weeks or however long the run is.
It really is flipped, isn't it? Because community theater, you rehearse for 2 months, and then you do like a weekend or 2 of shows.
Yeah.
Professional theater, you rehearse for like 2 seconds, and then you have 2 months of a run.
Yeah, exactly. And it's 8 shows a week for 6 weeks or 2 months, whatever. But I'm like, especially right now, Gigi's in school or in preschool, and she's about to be going to real school here soon, and then Felicity will be in, and I'm like, the evening time is the time that we have to spend together. That's I don't want to miss that, and that's also the time when you do theater. So I think maybe as they get older.
Yeah.
But again, it would be fun to do like a show with Genevieve or a show with like, I don't know if all 4 of us, but even just doing
one. And we'll just be stage parents and just really get into it and make them audition, even though they're crying. And no.
But anyway, it's I was just watching an interview with what is his name? I just told you. Not Ari Shapiro.
Ari Melber.
Ari Melber. And he was talking about how he's like 45 now or something like that, and he was talking about how he's gotten back into singing and doing theater and stuff like that. And he's like, I'm supposed to be this, legitimate reporter and all that. And he's like, and I feel like even now
I thought that is Ari Shapiro from NPR. Ari Melber is like a newscaster.
So it's Ari Shapiro. Whoever's on NPR, whatever his name is.
I don't know.
There's 2, whichever one is on NPR. He's like, I'm 45 now. He's like, and I still cringe a little bit when I say that I love to do theater and stuff like that. And he's like, I don't know why I have this in my head, but I need to get over it.
Yeah.
And it was just really interesting to hear his sort of perspective, because I'm like, I feel like we don't sing on our channels. We don't really play piano on our channels. We don't do anything like that. And I don't know why we have this in our minds, but it was really interesting hearing his take on it. And he's like, it's something I love, and it's a big part of who I am. And it's taken me till I was 40 to embrace it again. And I don't know why I just hit home.
Well, I think when you leave, like, a lot of people we know are still in theater, like that we knew from theater have been doing it ever since. But because we kind of stepped away and then like our lives took off in a totally different path, I think for us, because we were younger then, I think we view it as, oh, that's something you do when you're younger. But it's not.
It's not, yeah.
I mean, like literally every show we've ever seen, it's all ages, baby.
Yeah.
Like think about Les Mis.
Yeah.
And so I think that might be why that's in our head. It's like, oh, well, that was from our youth.
Yeah.
So it's what you do in your youth. But no, you can do it at any age and there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, and one of our friends, when we were kids, I remember he did shows with his kids, and I look at that now and I'm like, I just love that. Like, I think it'd be fun, because if you're going to drive your kid to, like, if it's something that they want to do, you know, then, you know, if you're driving to rehearsal anyway, may as well audition and try and do something in the show too, you know? Why
not? Make it worth the drive. Yeah. No, I see that. That's basically, I'll echo that sentiment. Like, exactly. I don't think, I have no desire right now.
Yeah. I think I have a lot more desire to be back on stage than you do.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Also, just want to say I love y'all and have been loving the podcast. We have a Disney podcast. We're not going to talk about it a ton here, but it's called Disneyville, and we're very proud of it. It's our baby. It's new.
Mm-hmm. We've done 3 episodes.
Yep. Probably 4 by the time this one's up. Well, it doesn't matter.
Close to it, yeah.
Anyway, so if you're into Disney, you will like that. I know a lot of you guys watch it and you're not into Disney at all, and that amazes me because it is about Disney.
It is a Disney podcast.
It's really kind of you, but you certainly do not have to watch it if you are not into Disney. That's cool. But we have the podcast that you can listen to, of course, on Apple Podcasts, but we also have a YouTube channel for it called Disneyville Podcast, where you get to see us like this, but it's a little more professional. But Tyler, you put a lot of Disney video over what we're talking about, so you get to see it. So the video version is pretty cool. But anyway.
Yeah. Does Tyler wear SPF daily? If so, do you have any tips to convince my hubs? I do during the summer. I don't typically during the winter, but during the summer, especially, well, I'm not good about wearing it every day, but if I know I'm going out on a run or something like that, I always put it on my face. Or if I know I'm going to be outside for more than 10 minutes, I'm really good about it. Yeah. I have Goodfella stuff that I think I get at Target.
Goodfella. It's Goodfellow, which I now will only be calling Goodfella.
Yeah. But it's
Target, right?
Yeah, I think it's an SPF 30, but whatever. So I use that, but probably not as much as I should.
You know, I would tell your husband, and this is true, I'm going to butcher how a dermatologist would say it because I'm not a dermatologist, but the number one thing that causes aging is the sun. Period. And so that's why, on top of also helping prevent other things, but that is it. So if he wants to help his skin look more youthful for longer, maybe he doesn't care about that. Sunscreen is the
thing to do. Yeah. And I didn't ever used to wear sunscreen, but you know what's funny? All of our friends are really good about wearing sunscreen. I feel like when I was a kid, it was a thing oh, I'm not gonna wear sunscreen.
It was cool to not be good.
Yeah. I'm wearing my backpack on one shoulder.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. And now, or what is it in 21 Jump Street? They're trying to be a bully, trying to be cool and fit in, even though they're 30, trying to be in high school. And all the high schoolers at that time are actually really kind, and they care about the earth.
And that's what the cool kids are doing is being cool, being kind and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, it's so funny because I remember the first time I realized that we were I don't know, 6 couples, and all the guys, all the girls, everyone was putting on sunscreen. It was just an unspoken thing we were all doing. I'm this is so funny.
Where were we? I love this.
I don't remember where we were even. I just remember looking around being it just wasn't even, everybody was putting on sunscreen.
That's cute.
I don't know why. And we were going on a hike or something like that. So we were going to be outside, but.
Aww.
Maybe it was when we were camping, I think.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's cute.
And just everyone was putting on sunscreen before they went out. And I was that just made me smile.
We're all just so grown up.
When I was a kid, you put on sunscreen when you were going to be at the beach. That was the only time I wore sunscreen.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a theme park.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which that was rare, you know.
You're beaming.
So, one question we got.
I'm going to turn this way.
Was.
Just completely profile.
We're also way closer. We had to turn the camera, but there's blinking things. We're what's that mean? Do you ever find working together is too much? Now, keep in mind, our jobs, obviously, right now, we're literally filming together, and this is part of our job. But, he does have separate things, but then we do have things we do together, like the podcast now.
And I was I think that's exactly why we work so well together. Is because it's really kind of perfect, because we go into work together, and we have, similar work hours and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But we each have our own businesses. They really are separate. So, we can go to each other and,
even
talk
by
about
law.
it. Yeah, but I'm talking about things and have advice and if I'm having this issue, we'll talk about it and all that. But we don't work together. So my company is still my company and it's still my decision versus it's all your decision. So I think we have sort of a sounding board and we work well together. But we have separate offices, separate companies. So it's not it's not you're going to make a decision that I don't agree with or vice versa, because we do have separate.
Well, and I think that's why it's been nice having the separate workspace, and maybe that is a big piece of it. Because, right now, we use one bedroom as, our home office, and for the longest time, that's what we were working out of. And having a separate workspace has been huge because I can shut my door, you can shut your door, and we can get stuff done without being interrupted at all. If I've got a Zoom call or he's got a meeting or this, that, and the other, it's not affecting. I don't have to like leave the room. Whereas when we are here working from home, that is, as silly as it sounds,
Although
it's an
you
issue.
did have your own office for a while.
Yeah, you're right. But then we had a baby. Another one.
Yeah. I was like, we should just bunk them up together.
Well, we didn't ever think about having a workspace when I had my own office.
Right. That's exactly it.
Because once, didn't we...
It was because it was right around the time we got the workspace that.
And I think at that point we were starting. Yeah. No, we had been trying, so we knew like that was the goal. Was having anyway.
Yeah, because we were like, we don't want to move while you're pregnant. That was get this all set up while you're pregnant. That was part of it. But
yeah, that's right. Forgot about the timeline. But anyway,
it works out really well because we obviously I trust her opinion and I trust her advice, but then ultimately it's still my decision and it's the same for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is nice, and I think we can sense when we're like tired of each other. Not but don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really ever get tired of you, I don't think, but.
Yeah, me either.
I'm a lot, to be fair.
No, but you know what I mean? Like maybe it's more this. Like, I can sense when I need to get out of the house or when I need to, whatever. And so then maybe that's a day that I'm like, I'm going to go vlog and go elsewhere.
I feel like having alone time is so important.
Yeah.
It really is such a big, important part of continuing to be who you are, just having time with just yourself, whether that's you going to Target and shopping, whether that's you going to the woods and going on a hike, whether that's just, I don't know. I just feel like having alone time is extremely important for mental health.
Me too.
But,
especially once you have kids. It's important either way. But, because like we'll literally joke like this morning, you and I were literally looking at each other across the room, in the kitchen, you remember? I mean, this is daily, so what do you mean, do you remember? But like literally we're looking at each other across the room and Felicity's going, yeah. in her little high chair. And Gigi's like, Dad, Mom, not whatever. And you were just trying to tell me like one sentence and you could not get it out. And I'm like, this is our life.
You know what's funny is this is absolutely true. When we were talking about moving to a new workspace, I was like, I really love the commute because about half the time, like you'll stay home or whatever and I'll drive there or whatever. Just it ends up working out like we'll drive separately to the workspace so we can go pick up the kids. Anyway, whole point of my story is I loved the commute because it was nice to be in the car by myself.
Quiet time.
For 30 minutes there and 30 minutes home, it was very nice.
Yeah, there is something to that.
That decompression time, that time to just think and be alone.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it. This was kind of long. I hope the footage and everything came together okay. I hope
that error message doesn't mean anything.
I know, it's blinking again. I'll look in the manual and see what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, it means everything was deleted. You got to start over. Oh my gosh. Anyway, well, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. And obviously, Tyler's channel, we've talked about it. Tyler Braun, come hang out over there. Maybe we'll do a new Costco vlog soon because we really do.
Doing a lot more videos. Like I said, like 3 videos on my channel a week, give or take. Versus like the last few years, I'll take like 3 months and not put up a video, and then I'll put some up, and then I'll take a month off. So like it's been pretty consistent, like 2 to 3 videos a week so far this year.
Yeah, it is. I think that's it. Yeah. All right. Well, I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.